Today, I'll be sharing with you how we grew our Instagram to more than 64,000 followers, all using an automation that automatically grows our follower base without me even needing to log into Instagram even once. In fact, some of the reels that we auto-published reached millions of views over at Instagram, and I only noticed it a few weeks after it went viral because the system that we're using is completely hands-off, but it has the potential to broaden your reach without you even needing to do anything. In fact, if you just look at our account insights here for the last 90 days, we were able to get more than 5 million views here and also reach more than 2 million people using this automation that I'm about to show you. Because to get those results, all I needed to set up was these two no-code agent workflows that downloads all my existing videos daily and then uploads them not just to Instagram, but now I'm also experimenting on posting it to YouTube Shorts, to Threads, and Twitter, and pretty much anywhere else that you want to grow your following on. So if you want to learn about n8n and agent automations like this, which is clearly becoming a must-have skill in tech in this century, if you just check for n8n's growth on Google Trends, then invest some time today to watch this video in full, and for sure you will learn something new that may change the trajectory of your business or your career. So basically, the framework of what we'll go over today is very simple because there's only two parts to it. We first have our downloader agent, which every day it will run to grab the videos from our primary channel. In my case, that would be TikTok, where we post content primarily. And then every day it will log all of those downloaded videos into a Google Sheet template, which basically lists all the videos one by one. And then you have this uploader agent that for me runs twice a day so that it posts 2 videos per day. And you can see that whenever it runs, it grabs the video from your Google Sheet and then automatically posts it to YouTube Shorts, to Instagram Reels. And now I'm also trying out Threads as well as Twitter. And then in the end here, it just updates that G Sheet so that we're marking those videos are done once they're published. So to set these up, they're actually both very simple because the downloader agent, there's basically one essential node here, which is an HTTP request node, which if we open that up, you can see that it's essentially a post request to a third-party tool called Apify, which if you haven't used before, it's very useful, especially when you're dealing with automations, because it's a place where developers can actually create their own actors, is what they call it. So for example, they have an actor here that extracts data from TikTok, which we're going to use in a while, one that extracts data from Google Maps, from Instagram, and so on and so forth. So if you know how to use Apify, then that's just going to turbocharge your workflows and the range of what you can do with your automations. So if you sign up to Apify, which if you do it in the link in the video description, you can get some free credits there as well. You can just go ahead and look for the TikTok scraper for this exercise. And the one that I use is this one, as it is the one that's also most popular, which if you click on that, that will take you to the actor's Apify page, which is like your central hub for managing everything about this actor. And essentially what this scraper will do is that it will allow us to download our videos from TikTok so that we can store them in our Google Sheet at the end of this agent. And essentially the only thing that you need in order to use this actor is to go under API, click in API endpoints, and find the URL here, run actor synchronously and get dataset items, and you can just copy that, and that's what you paste in this URL. And do note that in the end, this actually already has your API key, which is like your pass key. So if you share it around, then people can actually use your Apify account to use that actor as well. So in my case, for instance, I'll be disabling this after I do this tutorial. But in order to use that actor within n8n, we'll basically be posting a request to that Apify actor using this node. And if you scroll down, the request that we'll be posting is outlined by this JSON expression, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. And if I open that up, it's essentially a formatted way of passing along a request that Apify will accept. So instead of me going through one by one how I type this out, the easier way to do it is to actually go to your Apify actor of choice and then fill in these fields manually first. So for example, for this case, we can leave this as a limit of 100 videos to scrape. Under profile here, I type in RoboNuggets. And then this is where you can instruct the actor to scrape profile videos published after a certain date. So in this case, we'll be running that agent once a day. And so we want to get the latest videos from the past day as well. So we'll leave that as 1. And then as you go through this, you can see that the reason why this actor is so popular is because there's a lot of flexibility to it, but a lot of them we actually don't need for this particular use case, and so we'll just be skipping them. But what I wanted to show is once you fill those up manually, what you can just do in Apify is to click this JSON toggle, and it will convert your manual inputs to this JSON format, which you can just copy and paste here. So you can see our declared values there where we are getting videos from the past day, for example. We're getting from this TikTok profile in particular, and a couple other values here. Now to download videos, just make sure that this should download videos attribute of the Apify actor is set to true. So that's just an important point to make. But anyway, if we test this out and click on test step, you can see that for me, it returned 2 items because over at TikTok, I posted 2 videos there in the past day. And there's a lot of data here that you can parse through. But in the succeeding step, we'll actually pick out the ones that we need because obviously not all of these is something that we'll be using. But before we leave the topic, the good thing about Apify is that if you or your client's primary channel is not TikTok, for example, that's actually completely fine. Because if you just go to the Apify store, as I mentioned, there's tons of other actors here. So if you just type in, for example, Instagram scraper, you'll find several options there as well. And the way to use them and set it up would be exactly the same pattern. You can look through the input forms here manually, which allows you to set it up based on the parameters that you want, and then just switch to the JSON view in order to paste that into n8n. But anyway, at least for our use case, this version is for a client, let's say, whose primary channel is TikTok. What we now have are 2 videos, which we can load into Google Sheets as a next step. So if I open this up, what you basically have here is your connection to your Google Sheets. And then what this will basically do is get those 2 videos and then add rows to our template in order to log them properly. So what I've done is to create a template already for your Google Sheet, which you can also access in our community. And what you can just do here is to click on File and make a copy, and that will create a copy of this template over at your Google Drive. But essentially what you just need to do is to link that Google Sheets. So for me, I'll be using the template, and n8n will fetch the columns there automatically. And what you need to do here is to just map the inputs into their respective columns, which we'll be doing. So for ID, I'll go over that in just a sec. But under caption, we just basically drag this text attribute that Apify gave us because that is the caption of the TikTok video. For the video URL, you'll be getting this media URL value. And then for the original date, this is basically when the video was originally published. So it's just good for tracking. And for publishing status, you want to just type this out as for publishing. And then under ID, what I like to do is to just type out this Excel formula, which is equals row minus 1. So if you type this out exactly, and then if we click on test step here, what that just did, if it is successful, is to log those 2 items to your template. So if we go back to our template, you can see that it just automatically populated our values here, which is basically the task that your downloader agent will do every day when it runs. And also you can see that the ID here populated properly because this is basically just a numeric ID so we can track the number of videos that we have. So it just returns the row number and deducts 1 to it. So it's like 2 minus 1 equals 1. So that's how you get it. You have the caption here, which is useful because when you publish it, you'll want the caption to remain the same. And then you have the video URLs here, which you can actually click and you can preview in any tab in your browser. And this is the key video that will basically be pushed by your uploader agent in the next step. And then lastly, you have the publishing status here, which right now we've set as for publishing. And that's important because in the next step, your uploader agent will essentially be looking for this for publishing status to find videos that it hasn't published yet. But that's it. Very simple 3-node setup. I basically have this workflow scheduled every day. And then once you set it as active, it will grab the videos from your primary channel and store them in your Google Sheets ready to be published to all other channels of your choice. Because if you have an agent that downloads your videos, you will of course need another agent that will upload those videos depending on the frequency that you want. And if we look through this automation now, you'll see that its starting point is this Google Sheets node. And if we open that up, you can observe that it is simply connected to the Google Sheet that we were working with. And then it is filtering for rows where the publishing status is set as for publishing. And then under options here, we're only returning the first matching row so that we only post 1 video at a time. So if we click on test step here, what that just did is to output 1 item for us, which is this video, which we previewed earlier, that we are about to auto-publish to all other channels of our choice. So that's good that the uploader agent now has access to that video to post. Now for the succeeding nodes here, it may look complex, but it's actually not that complicated to set up. Because under the hood, all it really uses is this very useful tool called Blotato, which in my view is the simplest way by which you can connect all of your social media channels using just one unifying tool. So if you sign up to Blotato, make sure to also use the discount code that we have specifically for the RoboNuggets community if you're a part of our group. And that is courtesy also of Sabrina, who's done a learning session with the RoboNuggets community before and is actually the creator of Blotato. And if in case you don't know her, she's a very prominent educator around AI over at TikTok and Instagram. And she has really good content. And that's just good to mention because at least you know that the person behind Blotato has the experience to back it up. And the good thing is we actually published a very detailed step-by-step of how to set up this workflow that I'm about to show here in this Ultimate Publishing Agent course that we have in our community. So if you need a detailed walkthrough and haven't used Blotato before, I recommend that you check that out. Because here, the key nodes that we have in order to use Blotato would just be these two in particular. Because if I open up these Blotato IDs setting, you'll find that we basically have all of the social media channels here along with their specific account IDs, which you can actually get from Blotato once it's connected. And just to show where that is, over at Blotato settings, once you sign up, the great thing about this tool is that it actually has single sign-on for each and every social media channel imaginable. So you can just log in here and it will take you to Facebook's login page, to Instagram's login page, and that will allow you to instantly connect Blotato to any social media channel of your choice. And the other bonus is you can actually connect multiple profiles into one Blotato account. So if you have, let's say, 2 YouTube channels, then you can just connect those 2 YouTube channels with one Blotato account, which is very cool. And once you have that connected, it will actually give you the IDs that you can store here. And then this other preceding step before we go and upload to all of those social media channels would be for us to upload the video that Apify grabbed for us and upload it to Blotato. And the reason why that's the case is some of these social channels are actually quite sensitive, and most of the time they only want an accredited third-party tool to be automatically posting to them, which Blotato is accredited for. So if you open this up, it's just a pre-made setup already showing all the specs that you need in order to upload to Blotato. And you can see here in the URL that we're passing, it is simply the video URL coming from our Google Sheets, which a preview here is showing that video that Apify got for us. So if you click on test step there, what that now has outputted is this other URL for an MP4 video file, but now it's stored in Blotato servers. But if we copy that and preview that in another tab, then you can preview the video that we're about to our social channels. So now once that's done, you can just enable or disable these nodes depending on the social media channel that you want to post to, which to do that, you can just go ahead and copy all the nodes that you want to change the activation for, do a right click, and find this attribute called activate or deactivate the nodes. Or you can also just hit D as a shortcut for that. But we'll just disable those because we actually just want to post to YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. And no need to show all of these because what they basically are, they're all post requests to Blotato with the specific JSON configuration that Blotato accepts, particular to YouTube for this case. And you can see there's some attributes here based on Blotato's documentation of the requests that they accept. So if you want an in-depth tutorial there, then just go ahead and watch this video is what I would recommend. But just to illustrate the ending for this workflow, we can just go ahead and click play on each of these so that we post on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. And obviously I did that manually, but once we have this workflow active, that will do it twice every day or on a higher frequency if you prefer. So you can see that just posted on Instagram, that also posted on YouTube as a YouTube Shorts, posted on Twitter, and also to Threads. So the remaining part of this workflow is this final G Sheet node, which if you open that up, it's basically an update row operation, again mapped to your original Google Sheets template. And all it is telling n8n to do is to update this specific row that we just posted and mark the publishing status as done. So if we click on test step there and go back to our Google Sheet template, you'll see that our automation marked this one as done. And so the next time it runs, it will now work on this second row for the second video that we will publish, and so on and so forth. So now with that, you can just go ahead and schedule this to the frequency of your choice. So for example, if you wanted to post 2 times a day, then you can space the workflow to trigger every 12 hours. And once this is active, it will just auto post for you without you even needing to log into any of these secondary channels that you want to grow your following in. But there, 2 very simple agent automations that are also quite beginner friendly, but are very powerful and is proven to broaden your reach if you're in the content business, or if you're looking to offer for your clients who are content businesses of themselves, then this is something that they should definitely consider. And to make it as easy as possible for people who want to set this up, I'll be uploading these templates over at our community, which you can check in the link in the video description, along with this note that gives you a step-by-step guide on how to set it up for your own space, along with the links to that Google Sheet template, a link to sign up to Apify to get free credits, as well as how to set up Blotato in your own platforms too. And if you're not yet part of the RoboNuggets community, you can just check that out if you prefer. It's a growing network of AI practitioners now with more than 1,000 members. And the great thing is a couple members plus myself actually post paid opportunities here, because recently what's been happening is when people watch our tutorials here at RoboNuggets, sometimes people reach out to our team to recreate the R courses for them. But since the demand is so high and we can't accommodate each and every one of them, a lot of times I just post those opportunities here so that I can share them with the community as well. We also have dozens of other lessons here at the classroom, which you can check out and have access to, each with their own ready-to-load blueprints so that you can get set up in the fastest way possible. And we also have a lot of events, which you can check out here in our calendar. So if you want access to that network of AI practitioners, as well as step-by-step tutorials, each with their own ready-to-load automation blueprints, then check out the RoboNuggets community to see if that's for you. That's it for this one. See you guys next time. Thank you.